Welcome to this video demonstrating how to manage discrepancy notes in OpenClinica for the Minidex trial. In this video, I'm going to explain how to search for and display discrepancy notes, how to change the status of discrepancy notes, and how to update and correct data. As we saw in the previous video, discrepancy notes are failed validation checks or queries on missing, unexpected, or invalid data. This video is going to guide you through the various statuses that discrepancy notes move through during the course of their resolution. There are 4 key statuses for discrepancy notes. The first is the red flag. This stands for new and is the initial status for a discrepancy note. Next is the updated status, denoted by the yellow flag. This is when a user wants to update the note but is unable to resolve it at the time. Third is the resolution proposed status. This is when a user is proposing to close the discrepancy note, either by explaining existing data is correct, or by stating they have now entered the correct data. And finally, the closed status, denoted by the black flag. This is when the trial coordinator or a designated data manager has accepted the resolution and is satisfied that the note can now be closed. To view discrepancy notes for your centre from the home page or the subject matrix, click the Notes and Discrepancies button in the navigation bar. At the top of the page, you'll see a summary table. In the first column, we have what is known as the resolution status. The other columns show us the various types of discrepancy notes, and in the final column, we have the total number of discrepancy notes with that resolution status. Beneath the summary table is a larger table listing all of the discrepancy notes in the dataset for your centre. This table shows you the study subject ID that the discrepancy note belongs to, the type of discrepancy note, the resolution status, the site ID, which is the name of your centre, the number of days the discrepancy note has been open, and the number of days since it was last updated. It also shows the event name, the CRF name, the entity name, which is the internal ID used within the dataset, the entity value, which is the piece of data that caused the validation to fail, the description, which is the red text that was displayed prior to saving the validation error, and finally, the assigned user. As with the subject matrix, you can apply various filters if you are searching for a particular discrepancy note or group of discrepancy notes by using the grey bars underneath the column headers. For example, if I only want to see discrepancy notes for a certain subject, I can enter their study number in the grey box underneath Study Subject ID, press Enter on the keyboard or click Apply Filter in the Actions column, and then the only discrepancy notes displayed will be those belonging to that subject. I can click Clear Filter to go back to viewing all discrepancy notes. Similarly, if I wanted to view all the discrepancy notes with a status of Updated, I can click the grey box underneath Resolution Status and select Updated from the drop-down list. As you can see, I don't have any discrepancy notes with that particular status at the moment, so the table appears blank. So now I've briefly covered the Notes and Discrepancies page, let me demonstrate how to change the resolution status for a discrepancy note. So you can see the discrepancy notes raised in the previous video, and this one in particular is asking me for a value to the question, date head circumference measured. Let's imagine I don't know the value, but I have some additional information that I want to add. In this situation, I can change the resolution status from new to updated, and to do that, I click on the view icon over in the Actions column, which is the blue icon with the magnifying glass. This will open up a pop-up window with some more information regarding the discrepancy note. And to add the additional information, all I need to do is click on the Update Note button, and now I can type in some additional information. The Set to Status drop-down list has automatically selected Updated as the new status, which is what we want in this case. Now I can click Submit and Exit, and you'll see a message in the pop-up window telling you that the discrepancy note has been saved into the database. The pop-up window will then close itself down automatically. You'll notice that in the summary table, the status of one of the new discrepancy notes has now been changed to updated, and within the discrepancy notes table itself, you can see that the resolution status has changed from new to updated, and its flag has changed from red to gold. If you were to click the view icon again for this discrepancy note, you'll see in the pop-up window the information we just entered. We can now close that down. Now, let's say I do know the value to the question, please enter a value for date of baby's weight at trial entry measurement, and I want to enter that data into the CRF. To do that, click on the View Within Record icon and you'll be redirected to the tab within the CRF that the question appears on. So now it's simply a case of adding in the new data for the question, date of baby's weight at trial entry measurement. When a form has been marked as complete, like our entry form here, the form is in a status called Administrative Editing. What this means is that if we want to change any data, in this case we're just changing one question from a blank value to the correct date, we must provide a reason for changing that data. So once we have saved a changed value, you'll see a message at the top of the page, similar to when a discrepancy note is created. There's a red exclamation mark next to the question whose value we have just changed. The message states, because I have changed data since the CRF was marked as complete, we must provide a reason for change. To do this, simply click the flag next to the question that has been changed and then click the Propose Resolution box in the pop-up window. Similar to when we updated a discrepancy note, you need to enter a description and any additional notes. Note that this time the drop-down for Set to Status has defaulted to Resolution Proposed. Once you've entered this information, click Submit and Exit. If you're changing the value of multiple questions in this section during administrative editing, you'll need to propose a resolution for every question that is changed. Now that we've added the resolution proposed discrepancy note, we can click Save. If we go back to the previous tab, you can see that the data has been saved successfully with a green flag indicating that a resolution has now been proposed for the previously blank data. And if I hover over this flag, you'll see the update message that we just saved. As before, I'll exit the form, go back to the Notes and Discrepancies page, find the updated discrepancy note, and you can now see that the status has been updated to Resolution Proposed. There are times when you are going to need to resolve a discrepancy note by changing its status to Resolution Proposed without changing the data within the form. For example, in this case, where the baby's weight at trial entry was greater than the expected upper limit of 2,000 grams. Let's imagine that we need to say yes, this data is correct, even though it falls out of the typically expected range. The first way to do this is directly from the Notes and Discrepancies page without needing to go into the CRF. To do this, you just click the View icon, which opens up the same pop-up that you've seen before, click Propose Resolution, enter the description, and click Submit and Exit. Alternatively, we can click the View Within Record button, click the flag as before, and propose a resolution without making any changes to the CRF. Again, we need to enter some relevant information into the description field to explain why we are not changing this data, even though the value we have given has failed validation. We can then click Submit and Exit to save the note, just as before. Again, I'm going to exit and return to the Notes and Discrepancies page. So you can now see the resolution status of the discrepancy note has changed from new to resolution proposed in the summary table. And within the discrepancy notes table itself, you can see that the resolution status for both of the updated discrepancy notes has changed from new to resolution proposed, and their flags have changed from red to green. Once a resolution has been proposed, it is then up to the Trial Coordinating Centre to check whether they are satisfied with the proposed resolution, and then they can decide to close the discrepancy note. If they are not satisfied, they may request some further information from the Recruiting Centre before the discrepancy note is closed. So that concludes this data management podcast and the series of training podcasts for the Minidex trial. We've looked at how to randomise subjects into the Minidex trial, how to enter data within OpenClinica, and how to manage that data by changing the status of discrepancy notes and changing the data for a CRF marked as complete. Hopefully, this series of podcasts and the accompanying training exercises will help you to successfully enter and manage data into OpenClinica for the Minidex trial. Thanks for watching.